Hi everyone, this is Science of Victory. Today, Slide and I continue discussing the map Cliff, but this time from the North spawn. Let me remind you that our all-purpose setup has two AMX 5100s, two IS-3s, two T1s, and an AMX 1390. At the start of the battle, we rush to occupy strategic positions. There are actually several good options for opening positions, but based on our setup, it is best to send all tier 8s to the center. The 90 will be there first, so we start with it. There are two good choices. First is the Bertian F6. From here you can spot all enemy tier 8s that go through the 5th line. Feel free to shoot stuff, just make sure to use the rock for cover effectively. This position is good at the beginning of the battle. But don't go here if the enemy has fast vehicles, like another 90 for instance. In this case, it's better to send the light tank to the hill. It's very important to position the tank's hull correctly and roll out carefully while showing only the turret. Have a look how professional players do this. The tank's left track is on the steep part of the climb. The hull tilts and you can shoot the enemy in addition to spotting them. If you make a small mistake in your position, then the tank will lack the elevation angles to do this. You will just have to be extra careful. A little bit more about this position. Let's say the enemy has a similar setup. Our light tank gets to the hill, spots the enemy tier 8s, and their IS-3 shells immediately fly at him. When they are reloading, the AMX 5100s aren't loaded yet and the 90 is over the hill. So take this window of opportunity to bravely roll out, shoot 3 to 4 times, and get back. Remember this. By the way, if the enemy has a 90, but you haven't spotted it, then he is almost surely rolling through the second line. This means that either he will soon show up in E3, or he will hide behind a rock near the cliff. Keep that in mind and be prepared for fire from those places. Sometimes one or more enemy tanks try to get to F3 through the center. In this case, our light tank will see them early. The heavies only need to take aim and shoot at them when they show up. You'll be at a great advantage for nothing. Finishing off the remaining enemies won't be much of a challenge. Now the heavies. Let's get back to the initial rollout. Consider the heavy tank's movement trajectory. You should move the way you see now. Some tankers approach the cliff staying parallel to the road, but this is wrong. It will take you more time and thus expose yourself for longer. Experienced opponents will punish you for that. So we got to the center. Now what? The IS-3 occupy E5 and stay hull down. The 100s are free to act at will. If our setup is faster than the enemies, we need to occupy the bushes and play aggressively. The enemy will be extremely vulnerable as they approach the hill. If the setups are similar, then play more carefully and don't forget that the enemy 90 is proxying you through the hill. Attack through line 5. As soon as you get an advantage, reload your drums and go on a full-scale offensive. Just don't forget that the IS-3 should lead the charge whilst covering the 100s as they deal with the damage. What about the little ones? We send the T1s to scout the flanks. One goes behind the bush in C7, the other to D1. Their task is not to take any risk and wait patiently. While they're alive, our team is safe from a surprise enemy attack. The tactics are similar as for the south spawn. If you spot a tier 8 near the lighthouse, rush the center. If the enemy attack from line 2, spot them with your light tanks and damage them with your heavies from afar. If the enemies have no tier 1s, send yours to the capture through line 1 and prepare for a rush in the center with the main forces. Of course, we can't tell you everything in one episode, but we covered the most important things. Have questions? Then leave them in the comments and maybe we'll get around to answering yours. Subscribe to our channel if you want more, and if you liked it, like and share it. That's all for Cliff. See you again.